How is it possible?
Yeah. So the lunar eclipse, what you'll hear is the mainstream people like Neil deGrasse Tyson say the
He's a
lunar
disgrace.
eclipse. What's that?
He is a disgrace.
He'll say that the lunar eclipse proves the shape of the Earth because the Earth is casting a shadow on the moon, and if the Earth was flat, you'd have an eclipse like this. You know, that's called a straw man. All right. He said only a sphere can cast a shadow as a circle on another sphere. That is a false statement, right? That is a false statement. So on the top here is not the scale. You got the guy, wherever you are, you're on the top of the Earth, right?
Correct.
You're on the top of the Earth, and their land will go down and away from you in all directions.
Correct.
On a big scale, so it might look flat to you,
Yeah.
right? Well, the sun and the moon are above his horizon. The guy watching sees the sun over there and the moon's over there, both above the horizon. Could the eclipse start? The Earth isn't in between yet. Well, the eclipse does start. And sometimes it comes in from the top. How could it come in from the top if it's the Earth coming in between from the bottom? So it's called the selenilian eclipse. And the scientists, probably because they can't pronounce selenilian, say they call it the impossible eclipse because it's geometrically impossible.
It's the picture right here.
Yeah. It's geometrically possible. So yeah, so that's what they saw. And you could see the moon on the other horizon, above the horizon, so the Earth isn't in between. So what is causing the eclipse? First thing is falsification. Falsification is independent of replacement, right? You and I are here in Vegas. My wife told me that somebody stole the last cookie out of the cookie jar this morning, and she says she thinks it was you. Okay? Can we falsify that?
Of course.
Okay. Well, until you tell me who stole the cookie, I'm going to blame you. That's how the globe model works. They're like, well, you just disprove it. Well, what proves it? If you can't tell me what proves it, then I'm not going to listen. No. Falsification.
Guilt proven innocent.
Falsification is independent of replacement. If you falsify something, you don't have to explain what actually happened. It'd be nice to. I agree. But I can only speculate what causes the eclipse. Let's talk about solar eclipses. I got a short video that we can play and talk over. Is that good?
Of course.
We can do that?
Yes.
So on my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, you can find it at flatearthdave.com. It has everything answered for you. I'm going to look at I'm looking at the frequently asked questions page. I'm going to go to eclipses, and I'm going to send you a video that I made that is quite interesting. I'll try to find the short one. Where's the short version? Short version. Here we go. And let me just send this to you. Share. I remember how I talked how the sun is above the firmament. And we see a projection of the sun, right? So during a solar eclipse, nobody has ever seen the moon approaching the sun, right? The moon's supposed to go, if this is the sun, the moon's supposed to go in front of the sun, right? That's an eclipse. Here's the moon, here's the sun. The moon goes in front of the sun and eclipses the sun. But no one's ever seen it coming, eclipsing, or exiting. They only see a missing chunk of the sun. So a missing chunk of the sun. I say the reason we don't see the moon is because it's behind the sun that we see. So you can turn the sound down on it, and I'll just play the video, and I'll tell you what we're seeing here. Make that big. All right. So this is on the left. I have a eclipse that I made. I'm beaming onto a paper towel, a light from the other side, and I'm eclipsing it with a Snapple bottle cap. You don't see the Snapple bottle cap because it's behind the sun that we see. Behind the sky, the paper towel is the sky. On the right is an actual eclipse that I filmed. There was a lot of chem haze in the sky, if you know what I'm talking about. And it made it easy to film where it wasn't blowing out my lens. With me? They kind of look the same. So let's take a look. It's gonna go. Now, you don't see the moon. You see missing sun on both of those. You see missing sun. You think that's the moon. It could be, but you don't see it. You see missing sun. So We're going to just go a little farther forward. You can let it keep playing. And this is an eclipse that we filmed, and it was about 85, 90, maybe 90% eclipse. Now the sun is blowing out the lens, but you see that little eclipse right there? The one on the bottom is a lens flare, and the one on the top, that's how much the sun is eclipsed, but you can't see it on the big one because it's just too bright. If I put a filter over it, you'd be able to see it. So let it go. And you'll see that the one's moving around. That's clearly a lens flare, but the other one is locked in position to the sun.
That one.
So what is it? My theory is that's the actual sun eclipse, and that's in the firmament, and it's projecting its light into the sky screen. And the reason we can see through the sky screen, pause a second, is because there's less light in the sky. When we look up in the sky right now, what do we see? Blue sky, sunny day, because the sun is fluorescing all the gases, and it makes it opaque. But at nighttime, we can see right through up to the stars, wherever they are, right? So there's less light in the sky. So the sun, the 90% of the sunlight is missing. That's why we can see through the sky, and we can see it. Hit play. So what is that? That's locked to the sun. And I say that is the projector. You ever watch a movie projected on a sheet? The movies, the things behind, you can look through the sheet and see the projector. You can see the bright spot that's projecting onto it. That's exactly what's going on here. So we'll just jump forward. We'll just keep going. And so I'm going to show you an example of what it is that I saw. There you go. So there's my paper towel eclipse. I'm going to show you a side view so you can see exactly how I'm doing this, right? So here's the side view. There's my projector, and there's my eclipse. So you don't see the bottle cap because there's no light on the bottle cap being projected into the sky screen, the paper towel. Then I said, wait a minute. What if the sky is a little more transparent? So I took instead of using a paper towel, I used a tissue paper, thinner than a paper towel. So it's less opaque because there's less light in the sky. And watch what happens when I do this. Give it a second. There you go. So there it is on the right. You see that's the projector behind the paper towel, but not behind it. And you can't see. And there's the eclipse that we see. And when we compare that to the actual eclipse, they both look the same. We're seeing the same thing. That's my theory. Prove me wrong. Makes sense.
Yeah, but the actual scientists would say, why would I argue and why would I prove this lunatic wrong? Who is he?
Well, that's what they say. That's called an appeal to authority, right? Right. The scientist. I'm a scientist by definition. I study and I experiment. I use the scientific method. All of astronomy doesn't use the scientific method. None of it does. They just look at observations, make conclusions, and tell you it's a fact. They use nothing scientific. I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. 1 globe proof. And nobody can collect those Bitcoins because there are no globe proofs.
Okay, but how does the lunar eclipse work on a flat Earth model then?
There's something either eclipsing the moon, it could be another dark body, or maybe it's not a shadow at all. Maybe the moon is just powering down. A full moon is a light, so it's getting its energy from somewhere. A new moon is no light, so it's off. During a full moon, we have higher high tides. But during a full moon, if the Earth is here, the moon is here, the sun is over here. That's a full moon. Well, so when during a new moon, the sun would come all the way over here. So you got the sun and the moon pulling on the tides, but it's not pulling as hard. Doesn't make any sense.
What about solar eclipse?
This is the solar eclipse right here. I just showed you. The solar eclipse is a body. I think it's the moon. It could be another body. It could be a node of some sort blocking the projector so we see the eclipse. No one has ever from anywhere from the International Fake Station, telescopes, infrared, ever seen the moon eclipse the sun. Now people say, the Globers will say, oh, the sun's so bright you can't see the moon right next to it. Cool story. But what about when the moon completely eclipses the sun? Well, there's no more light blinding you. The earth shine, like moonshine, should light up the moon. It's 6 times bigger, so it should be 6 times brighter at least than the moonshine. and we don't see the moon. No one has ever seen the moon in front of the sun.
Yeah, but maybe the Earth does not reflect that amount of light because of the atmosphere.
Well, if the Earth doesn't reflect that amount of light, then the moon can't either.
The moon does not have any atmosphere.
So the atmosphere, which is lit up, the atmosphere is actually light. The atmosphere is a light. Before the sun rises, you can go on the west side of your house and read a book from the daylight, because the light of the fluorescing of the sky, it's like photography. You have your main spotlight, that would be the sun, and then you have your backlights that give you everything. If you only film with one spotlight, it would be like the Blair Witch Project. Well, we have daylight, which is different than sunlight. So before the sun appears, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes before sunrise, it's daylight, even on the west side of your house. The house is blocking the sun. The earth is blocking the sun, but I can still read a book. The atmosphere is light. The earth is light. The sky is a light.
Okay, what about then? If you enjoyed this short clip, please be sure to watch the whole episode, which can be found right here. So click right here, right now, and watch the entire episode. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed.